Good morning. This is Professor Bradley, and I'm using this Screen-O-Matic application to provide you some insight as to how to do the best you can on your final project for Criminal Justice 100. Let me get rid of this first, and you'll see here we are in our regular classroom, and I have switched to the learner mode, as you can see. So this depiction is essentially the same as you will see in your classroom. I have 9 NRED discussion posts that I need to read, and today is Thursday, June 26th. Let's look at the assignment block, and we want to find our final project. Here it is. You'll see the final project is the application to the criminal justice system. And by the way, this is a new link that I've just added for your convenience. We'll talk about that in just a moment. Let's click on the final assignment, and here is the project description. Step 1, select one of the 3 cases below. Step 2, describe the process the offender will go through as they go through the entire criminal justice system. Step 3, conclude your analysis by discussing what you believe is the weakest link in the criminal justice process and the strongest link. Don't forget about step 3 when you finish your project. We're going to focus this morning primarily on this flow of the offender through the criminal justice system. We'll scroll down through this information, which is a lot about how to make sure you get your APA formatted citations, and go down into something of an outline that I've encouraged you to use. An introduction, a brief description of the crime. I know these crimes. I wrote these descriptions. Describe the process in an adult criminal justice system the offender will go through, beginning with the arrest. This paper will conclude when the offender is released back into the community. Again, don't forget your analysis of the strongest and weakest link. Here's your minimum word requirements, double-spaced, 1-inch margins. Use APA citation formats for all of your outside sources. This is case 1, the murder. Case 2, the robbery. Case 3, drug distribution. Use these characters to help you stay on track as you go through the criminal justice system. Please note, the due date is July 11. July 11 is a Friday. By midnight, and this is as close as I could get, by midnight Friday, your paper should be submitted for full credit. Again, here's the link that I added. This is the same link that was on the assignment sheet. Let's click on that for a moment. And we'll open it. And you'll see we have a Word document coming up. And this is as close as I could get to providing you. Mine is open actually on a second monitor that I use. But when you receive it, it will look like this. This is the link that I wanted you to see. And we simply hit Control, click on the link, and it takes us out to the internet, to the Department of Justice website for the criminal justice system. You should have seen this before in our other resources for the course. This is the criminal justice system flowchart as described by the Department of Justice. This will serve as an excellent outline for the flow of your individual through the criminal justice system. Beginning with arrest, describing each element, each decision point, each process all along the line. These are all adults, so you do not need to go into any detail about juvenile offenders, although you can acknowledge the fact that had the offender been a juvenile, and what would happen to the individual along this line. Briefly, the primary focus is on the individual in the adult system. All of these crimes are felonies. Again, you can briefly discuss what would occur had these been misdemeanors. But I want you to stay on the primary track of an adult charged with a felony in the criminal justice system. What happens along each point, where pretrial release occurs, where plea bargaining might occur, what happens in the court systems, what happens upon conviction and sentencing, the options that are available, but all of our individuals will be going to prison. Whoops, I didn't mean to do that, sorry. All of our individuals will be going to prison and ultimately paroled or released back to the community. This is the end point for your paper. You cannot have your subject acquitted. You cannot have your subject accept a plea and not go to trial. You cannot have your subject not be indicted by the grand jury. They must travel the entire length of the adult felony criminal justice system through trial, through sentencing, to prison, and then ultimately out of the system. Again, you see a branch here where the individual could have been assigned to probation or to prison. You can describe that and what would have happened if they had gone to probation. You can describe appeal and what the options are with the appeal. But you cannot have the individual win the appeal and be released. The individual must travel the entire length of the system. Again, I wanted to provide you this visual as a guide as you construct your paper. We're going to exit this sheet and go back to our assignment page and come up in the class page and go back to content. In content, as soon as it clicks in content, you can see under global resources, the Criminal Justice System Flowchart and Overview from the Department of Justice. This link is the same link I just described in the assignment sheet. So you can get to this flow chart either by going to Content, Global Resources, or by going to Assignment, scrolling down and clicking here, or going to the actual assignment, scrolling down, and clicking here. I hope you find this useful. I wish you the very best in completion of your final project, and I look forward to reading them.